Thank you so much for hopping on today's training video. I am Connie Kircher. I serve as an elite entrepreneur coach. I am all things strategy. I come alongside all of my clients to make sure that we are getting to completion, we are building self-trust, and we are really growing the business, right? From a marketing standpoint, a scaling in your sales, making sure that you're managing the deliverables, and ultimately building a business that has high retention, high follow-up strategies so that you are able to have a greater impact. So if you hopped on to today's video, it's because you read the title, All Things That Completion Builds Confidence. Okay, so that is what we're going to lean into, is that credo or that philosophy that I make sure all of my clients hear early on into our coaching relationship, middle of the road of we've coached together for a couple of years, or even for my clients that we have been now 10 years in standing, is that the importance of understanding why I say completion builds confidence. So let's dive straight in. So the first reason I keep that as a credo and as a piece of you watching this training video is when we have a sense of completion and we're not always working on our progress, you don't have a diffused, kind of relationship with your business. If you're constantly working on the website, the pricing, the networking plan, the way you want to offer a program, you're constantly getting more professional development, certifications, and courses. All of those things are wonderful to do, and at a strategic level need to be evaluated, need to be revised, need to be refreshed. But for the business model itself to constantly be in flux has you be a CEO that is in a very high anxiety ridden business. Okay. And so when I'm saying completion builds confidence, it is that 80% of your business model shouldn't be constantly evolving and or working on, and or I'm going to revisit that, or I need to, look at that again. I want you to get to a place where 80% of your business model is tried and true and is working and is stable. So you can be making tweaks, and you can be, working on and phasing in and elevating the 2.0 version of that product or the 3.0 version of that 90-day plan or your membership plan. But when you are constantly in innovation and constantly in review and revise, that is where you honestly get stuck in your own head of, we're always, trying this again. We're always revisiting that I haven't built that out yet. So we are going to stop constantly being a CEO that allows incompletion to be the standard. So I love to coach this to say, completion is our standard. Okay. For the deliverables we're doing, for the networking strategies that I go to a networking call and then I follow up, not like, oh, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to let that roll for 2 weeks and I haven't done it. If I attended networking today, completion is the standard. I set up the networking call. I do my virtual introductions for individuals that I think would be a great synergistic relationship. I've trained myself to make sure, and I train my clients, that completion is the standard, not I wrote that down in my notes or I put that on my Trello board, and just the, revolving door of those things being undone, ungifted, untied up in a nice little bow isn't the standard of the company. So it's more of a standard question that you need to evaluate as a CEO. And again, I'm always coaching to be working on your business, not in your business. So when the second point that I want to, lean into is not only do you just, have that conversation with yourself and go, I really do need to be minimizing how many things I'm working on and I'm going to get to, and go, you know what? I need to set 80% of my business model and I need to just hold that steady and stable for at least 6 months. Like 6 months is not that long. And what I find is most of my clients are working on their business model every 6 weeks. I would be going stir crazy if I was working on my business model every 6. That is where all my energy and exhaustion would come from. Okay. So get completion is going to build your confidence in terms of set the business model and let's let it go into marketplace. Let's, see it consistently go in to networking and follow up and education and value content strategies so that people can just get to know the stable business. All right. That second component of being so undone is that you need a sense of accomplishment. All right. As much as we are all intrinsically motivated, anyone that has coached with me or is around the entrepreneurial space, we are genuinely wanting to make a positive impact. We are gifted in a certain way and we want to pay that forward. We are on mission because, we want to see a change or a transformation. And we know that what we are investing in terms of our products and services will help others get to their end goal. That is the entrepreneurial spirit at its core. Okay. So you're always going to be intrinsically motivated to do that. What is a miss at times is because we forget that we're running a business, a company itself, is that we just think it's normal to have so much incompletion happen. And then you start to mistrust yourself, right? So the way I like to say this is, let's say you and your best friend, aka your business, have a coffee appointment tomorrow at 8 a.m. and they don't show up. They don't show up. And then later they're like, oh my gosh, I want to get back to that. I'm so sorry. I forgot. I will get it done. You start to lose trust with that best friend, aka you start to lose trust with your business. And if you have that many missed appointments, metaphorically, of course, you're going to start mistrusting the way that your business is run, the way that you can actually see a stable business. So I love to show that, to be like, you would never keep doing business or keep showing up in that friendship or that relationship if they say, oh, I'm going to, meet with you at 8 a.m. tomorrow, or let's meet for that happy hour. And they keep not showing up. You wouldn't keep having confidence in that relationship, right? It's the same thing with your business. So when you say you're going to do your hour and a half of social media strategy, or you're going to do your 30 minutes of follow-up or sales, or write that copy, or make that podcast happen, you are saying to the relationship with your company, I am promising that that appointment's going to happen, right? Like I'm going to do that critical action step because I trust and I know that we're going to show up at 2 o'clock, or we're going to show up at noon, or we're going to show up this Friday. So looking at it that way, that your business is your best friend. And if you keep canceling on your business, but yet expect as a CEO to enjoy the business and just keep building so much, fun and creativity and things like that, it's like your best friend is not showing up. And that's the now standard. So you have to make that decision and make that shift. All right. Last but not least, why I say completion builds confidence is that you need a record multiple times to know this is working, this is working, this is working. When you are operating in completion, you never can look at the data or the trends to know what is working or what isn't working. Okay. So when I find with my clients where they were supposed to do this 6-week marketing campaign, they were going to show up to these 3 networking events, and then 3, months go later, you're still sitting in indecision and no data to know how to move forward. That, of course, is going to make you very not confident on what to do next. But when you have completion and you say, I've attended those 3 events and here's the theme or trend. I did the entire 6-week campaign. You now maybe have 75% of the formula down. You only have to change or adapt or evolve 25% of it. So you don't realize that when you are not fulfilling your appointment calendar to yourself, to your project calendar, you are just kicking the can further and further and further down the road to not know what decisions to make the next month, the next quarter, where I should spend my dollars, where I should spend my time. So it's so important to know as we close out this training, why I say completion builds confidence is it ultimately gives you some trends and some data points. And if you are not a complete data-driven nerd like me, that is okay. That is why I'm a coach. That is why I come alongside you, is to help create strategies and boundaries in that space so that you can start to identify trends and make really great CEO data-driven decisions moving forward so that you can scale and grow and be super, efficient in that way. But if you're just starting in terms of, yeah, Connie, I've ran my company for a couple years and I've never have seen a full campaign come to completion. I'm going to encourage that today, right? If you say, I'm going to run this, quarterly events and quarterly workshops or these master classes, and you've never completed it, I'm going to encourage you just the goal itself to get to completion so you can then have the confidence to make decisions after to know that's what worked, that's what didn't work. Okay? So it's a system in itself, it's a strategy in itself to go, I feel so confident making decisions in my business because I have so many data points that we have seen it through, we've repeated it a couple times, and now I know what to leverage. Now I know and make some suggestions of like, that is working, that isn't working. So that is why I've always leaned in so many different ways that completion builds confidence as a CEO. Those are the three reasons why, right? I've never laid that out in a video. I've never put that out there. I've just always come alongside and I've always said completion builds confidence, right? Like you must actually, see a campaign to completion. It's for those reasons and even more. But for today's training, we'll leave it at those. So if I can be of service in terms of coming alongside as your strategy coach, as your entrepreneur coach, I would be blessed and honored to do that. In the bio, I always have a 30-minute complimentary strategy session so that I can understand where your gaps are in terms of your marketing strategies, your sales strategies, overall your calendar management, and overall just your management and leadership of your business. If you have a team, that would be appropriate to do this discovery call so we can keep talking about and evolving how that structure needs to look. And then I always provide some insights, and then we always talk about what next steps would look like in terms of building a coaching relationship, whether that be in a one-on-one capacity or whether that be enrolling in my next group coaching program. So I hope to see you on the next video. Make sure that you have hit the like button on this video. Make sure that you have pushed subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next training video as we dive into more strategy, more confidence as a CEO, and continue to evolve and elevate your entrepreneurial successes. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.